that you are praying. You look very hungry. If you truly are the Son of God, turn this stone to bread. Satisfy your desires.
It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God.
Mankind will not heed your words. This world is my domain. They have turned from you.
If they do not heed my word, it is because you have blinded them to it. Yet I have come to bear the sins of many and show them the way.
You can see the masses. Everybody wants to get food to eat. What a government! What a government! Look how people are struggling. People are struggling to have food. Look at people. Okay, let's look at the hold up. Just take a look at the hold up of Plateau State today. No way entrance, no way out. Look at the hold up. Okay, let's look at the outside. If you're trying to go out from Jos City, can you see the hold up? Can you see the cars?
Most of our audience knows that the year is 2020. We are one of the richest countries in the world, and there are endless food lines in Texas of people lining up at a food bank to get food. More than 6,000 cars and 25,000 people lined up to get free food from the North Texas Food Bank. This is the largest food giveaway ever by this food bank. Most people in the line received a turkey, some dry products, bread, and fresh produce. Each person was given about 20 meals worth of food, according to the food bank. At least 40% of the people waiting for food were new to that food bank and there because of the virus. There's a report from the Institute for Policy Research at Northwestern University from June, which reported that food insecurity has doubled in the United States and tripled for families with kids as a result of the pandemic. And when you look at the pictures and video of this and you realize this is optional, you have to be asking questions about why this is going on.
Mixed emotions today at Dallas's biggest food giveaway since the pandemic began. Quite frankly, probably one of the biggest ever. While many families are happy that they will have a Thanksgiving meal, the size of the crowds proves just how devastating this pandemic continues to be. From the ground, you could see cars lined up everywhere at Fair Park. When you take a wider view from the air, the length of the line was as far as the eye could see, backed up onto the freeway.
I haven't been working since December, March. Can't find a job. They cut off my unemployment. It's a big deal. It's a real big deal.
So this is a big blessing for us to be able to get this.
One more.
Every Tuesday and Friday morning, a long line of people gather by foot and by car to collect these boxes of hope. That's what the volunteers of the New Life Center Food Pantry in Little Village call these boxes.
Fresh produce, milk, cheese, a lot of very healthy things.
The pantry receives donations from many partners, including the Greater Chicago Food Depository. They joined forces in May when the food pantry started serving more families than ever due to the pandemic.
Before the pandemic hit, really we were feeding around 100 people, and that has grown exponentially, not just at our location, but several other locations in our community and throughout the city of Chicago.
Thousands of families at their 7 sites. People like Maria Velez, who has been driving to Little Village since April.
I pick up for my niece and myself like twice a month. The way things are going is, very rough, and I won't be, the shopping and everything, the money-wise and everything is too much to handle. It's depressing and sad.
My hours got cut suddenly. It wasn't like I had any time to prepare. I didn't even see it coming.
Sarah Adams was recently laid off. She is a certified nursing assistant and provides home care, but lost her main client. For the first time, the mother of two is in line at the Lakeview Pantry in Ravenswood for food.
If it wasn't for them, I don't know what I'd do to feed my kids while the time I'm struggling. My unemployment is not enough to make ends meet.
With this pandemic, so many people are starting to have to turn to a food pantry to put food on their tables for the first time, right? So these are hospitality workers, hotel workers, folks who work for an airline.
Since the pandemic began, the organization has served 108,000 Chicagoans.
If it wasn't for this, we'd go hungry. So thank you to everybody that is helping. And if it wasn't for you, I don't know what I'd do.
We have a president that in the midst of this pandemic is just absent. Donald Trump has not taken questions in weeks. In the time since the election, he's only been seen 3 times. Once was 2 a.m. on election night claiming he won. One was laying a wreath on Veterans Day. And one was taking credit a week ago for coronavirus vaccines that are upcoming, reportedly, without taking a single question. He's not answered a single question from the media in weeks. And we have food lines as the president is gone. He's played golf twice in the last week, but he's not spoken to the media in 3 weeks. Remember when Donald Trump Jr. talked about how this is America. We don't have the food lines, the bread lines, like he supposedly saw in supposedly communist countries. Well, we do have them. He's just wrong. I guess the difference is these are capitalist bread lines rather than communist bread lines. For all the talk about communist bread lines, and this will never be a socialist country, this seems pretty damn dystopian to me.
Giving thanks and praying before a meal. During normal times, you don't really understand what that means. But during these times, you're going to understand where that tradition came from. Because that tradition came from times like we're about to enter. Where you are thankful for every morsel of food you eat. And you want to thank the Father that provided it, because some of the ways that the food comes to you will simply be because it was divinely granted, and that will be very evident.
You know all things to come. Wars will be waged. Man will kill man in your name. Why go through this? Why suffer such a wretched death?
In the tightly contested state of Florida, emotions are running high.
Vote for Trump like true Americans. Want socialism, move to Cuba.
Trump and Biden went head-to-head here. So too did their supporters.
We've been getting middle finger stuff thrown at us all for the past hour and a half that we've been here.
Who's the losers now?
Trump fans are unwelcome guests at a Biden rally. At times, aggravation sparks confrontation.
One of the Trump supporters said that you spat on him.
That what?
That you spat on him.
He kept coming in our car, and we told him not to. We had to do something to get him away.
Do you feel sad that this is what it's come down to?
Oh, absolutely. It didn't have to be this way.
This is not going to be the worst.
You think it's going to get worse?
When Biden wins next week, Trump's going to say it was rigged, and he's going to tell all of his people that, have guns to go out and start protecting their liberties.
My people are so smart. And you know what else they say about my people? The polls. They say, I have the most loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
My president is a racist.
Donald Trump is not a racist.
If you ever wonder just how bitter this fight has become, this is a prime example. We're just days away from the election, and in tight states like this, the tension's continuing to rise.
They assaulted my daughter. Guys, move. Move. Move.
Are you giving a speech somewhere?
No. Don't let the animals bother you. 4 more.
Don't let the animals bother you.
4 more years. Oh, I can't take any money.
Be careful. Yeah. These people are crazy.
Yeah.
Bullets are flying off the shelves.
We got some 9mm.
A massive spike in gun sales.
People are afraid.
That fear driving people to firearms.
Clear!
Clear! Ready, up, bang, forward.
This is to help you keep peace?
Yep.
There seems to be so much tension mounting around the election. What do you think is going to happen?
I think that whatever happens, you know, people are going to get hurt, people are going to get killed.
What will happen come Tuesday? According to the American Psychological Association, they're getting reports from Democrats, Republicans, and independents about rising concerns over the election.
The tensions are rising to the point where a lot of people feel unsafe. Pro-Trump supporters gathered to rally in support of the president. Anti-Trump demonstrators showed up and they clashed. Back here in front of the Empire State Building, we're expecting more businesses like this to be boarded up today. Look, Gail, even Nordstrom, the major retail chain, said they're boarding up all 350 of their locations around the country.
From sea to shining sea, America today is a boarded up nation. Stores fearing civil unrest are doing what they can to protect their businesses. At this command center in New York, security expert Pat Brosnan keeps a watchful eye on his clients' businesses.
We have a range of factors that are all contributing to the likelihood of a significant increase in violent behavior, particularly gun violence.
Just getting ready for what happens tomorrow. Hopefully nothing.
At the White House, a non-scalable fence is being erected. The National Guard is on red alert if there's any attempt to storm the grounds.
Governor Baker has activated 1,000 members of the state's National Guard.
The National Guard has been activated. The National Guard has been activated.
First-time gun buying is up to an unbelievable level.
Unbelievable and unprecedented. According to FBI stats, since 1998, 8 of the 10 highest weeks for background checks have come since March this year.
Does it worry you?
Honestly, yeah, it kind of does. I mean, now everybody's going to be equipped with the gun.
People are going to get hurt, people are going to get killed.
Street battles have broken out between thousands of Donald Trump supporters and counter-protesters in the heart of Washington. Donald Trump has slammed those who clash with his fans as Antifa scum on Twitter. and blamed the chaos on DC's Democratic mayor.
The streets of Washington, D.C. locked down. Protesters from across America questioning their political process and testing this nation's fate. Tens of thousands of Donald Trump's supporters descended on Freedom Plaza. This the beginning of a new movement, Stop the Steal. Bringing with it an array of new cries.
China Joe has got to go!
Police swooped on several scuffles. Clashes between anti-fascists and Trump supporters boiling over. The far-right Proud Boys joined the march. Outside the Supreme Court, police moving in to separate them from Antifa. The same two groups fighting at similar events across the country.
We sent a message that 500,000 people aren't going to just go quietly into the night.
We are just disgusted that we're allowing the folks to steal this vote.
In which states do you believe the Democrats stole the election?
All of them. All of them. I bet all 50 states there's some vote fraud everywhere.
And after hinting he'd drive by his supporters, Donald Trump rolled past the plaza, 2 thumbs up out the window. As the hours wore on, so did the violence. This man king hit by an anti-Trump protester as he left the march. Another demonstrator's face bloodied and more arrests made. Trump flags were on fire. His supporters attacked while eating dinner. Rioters looking to inflict damage and violence into the night. As Americans vent their anger, it doesn't change the likely outcome.
I understand that. Okay, we don't either. We're not here against anything else other than that. Listen, wait. The reason we were here is because we were originally at River Front Park, we were then moved to South Central Park, and then we were moved down here.
The reason we were here is because we were originally at River Front Park, we were then moved to South Central Park, and then we were moved down here.
The whole reason they did that was to keep us and them separate.
They're down there. Go down there where they at.
What's that?
Go down to Central where they at. They're not coming down here. We don't need this shit.
Okay,
we don't need y'all and we don't need them. This is a place of peace. We trying to have a peaceful.
But we're gonna bounce out. We're gonna get out of your way.
Go down the Central.
Get out of your way right now. We honestly, we had no clue y'all were gonna be here.
Thank you.
We had no clue anyone else was gonna be down here.
We're not welcome.
Okay.
Running them out of Texas. It is hilarious. I'm about to run out of gas, which I'm sure some of you would love. Look at that.
We're in New Braunfels, Texas, and we are welcoming Kamala Harris with the New Braunfels Trump Train. Woo! Look at all the Trump flags, baby! Look at all the Trump flags!
You know, they were protecting his bus yesterday because they're nice. So his bus, they had hundreds of cars.
The Biden-Harris bus is leading the Trump train. Woo!
Somebody said that they had police escort, but I guess they defunded the police and the escort left because it ain't nowhere around.
I think that thing is with the Biden-Harris bus.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that white car is.
I guess escort the Biden bus.
Look.
Look at how they're driving.
Funniest thing I've ever seen, man. They're like chasing him. This is in New Braunfels right now, and they're like, look at this. They're like literally escorting him out of town.
We're just following the Trump train that is following the Biden bus.
There's some Trump supporters that have showed up behind the Biden-Harris bus that has been traveling all over the country.
I'm calling you, lady. Your little Biden-Harris sign is not going to do anything. They're lying to you, and you're a sheep. You are a sheep. You're a sheep.
This is what the Trump supporters do. This is who the Trump supporters are. This is what Trump has done to America. This is what Trump, look at this.
Let's go! Let's go, please, please!
I hope you're all going to be poll watchers. I hope you are.
It'd be great if you guys all get together, head down to McAllen, and give Kamala Harris a nice Trump train welcome.
4 more years! 4 more years!
Shields up! Yeah, bitch! I see you, bitch! I see you! Pussy motherfuckers!
I don't know what's in it, but
fuck that motherfucker! Come back! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! This is shit!
Loves the world, love of the Father's not in him. All that's in the world, lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, pride of life. It's not of the Father, it's of the world.
When Mr. Cyrus passed away,
But he who does God's will is going to live forever.
Forever.
The freedom of monetary debt will be offered up to all of you. All of your debts will be wiped out, and that of the debt of the entire world. The many trillions of debt the United States has multiplied will be forgiven. You will be allowed to remain in your homes and on your property. You will no longer have to be concerned with your credit score or anything related to the current financial systems. The governments are appointing a man of influence to let all of you know that he has solved the problems of the economic systems and the heavy price it has placed on you. He will say that he understands your plight and he is on your side. You can accept this forgiveness of debt as long as you agree to be a part of a new currency to replace the US dollar, which is currently the backing dollar for every currency on Earth. With the collapse of the dollar comes the collapse of the entire planet's economic systems. You have been convinced to accumulate debt for this very reason.
Here is what it will promise through Nesara. Forgive all mortgage, bank debt, and credit card debt due to the cabal's illegal banking and government activities. Eliminate the Federal Reserve System. Abolish income taxes. Abolish the IRS. Create flat-rate, non-essential, new items-only sales tax revenue to fund the new government, drastically increase benefits to senior citizens, return true constitutional law to all citizens and courts, establish new presidential and congressional elections within 120 days of Nesara's announcement, create new U.S. Treasury currency, the rainbow currency, one backed by gold, silver, platinum, and other precious metals. End the bankruptcy of the United States initiated by Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1933. Stop all special interest groups. Closely monitor the validity of elections. Establish worldwide peace, wherein U.S. troops will be brought home from around the world as peace is declared. In alignment with the Constitution, there will be no standing armies, and that will be permanently observed. Release enormous sums of money for humanitarian purposes. Enable the release of thousands of suppressed technologies currently being withheld from the public under the guise of national security. This includes free energy devices, anti-gravity devices, and sonic healing machines. 6,000 technologies will be released initially, followed by the release of more than 60,000 more technologies. Initiate the first phase of worldwide prosperity distribution of vast wealth that has been accumulating for hundreds of years. Nesara and Gesara will create an entirely new system of worldwide currency that's fully transparent, backed by gold, not governed by bankers, and runs on the blockchain, an unhackable, ledger-driven accounting of every transaction ever made. This will offer full transparency and privacy and is 100% traceable. Can you see how this will sound like a very good thing, and why the New Age and Q followers are so eager for this great awakening?
Your debts are going to wiped out for accepting a new currency that you will be told is absent of all of the controls placed upon it by the private bank called the Federal Reserve. Anonymous knows the true identities of those behind Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. It is not a rebellious platform as you have been made to believe. Trust not your government at all cost, even your life. The promise of forgiveness of debt, or your sin is coming. The commitment will be made by billions of people the world over. They will accept this new form of currency, and those who do not accept it will be called terrorists who do not want peace. You will be called an enemy of the state of the world. You will not be allowed to purchase anything without the new currency. You will be a risk to all who have accepted it. You will be killed, and those who kill you will believe they are doing the work of God. In truth, they are working for God. It's the dollar that is the God and is why it is in God we trust printed right on it. Or did you miss the part in the Bible about money being the root of all evil?
Nesara stands for the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, and was introduced into the United States by a man named Dr. Harvey Francis Bernard, a Louisiana graduate in systems philosophy and an engineering consultant and teacher. Dr. Bernard created the Nesara proposal during the late 1980s and early 1990s. He printed 1,000 copies of his proposal titled Draining the Swamp, Monetary and Fiscal Policy Reform in 1996, and sent copies to all members of the U.S. Congress, believing it would pass quickly on its merits. Yes, draining the swamp. Sound familiar? Although the mainstream narrative states that the proposal died before gaining any traction, the truth is actually quite different. Nesara was secretly passed by Congress on March 9th of 2000. In fact, Bill Clinton is said to have signed it into law under heavy military duress.
Under heavy military duress.
Bill Clinton is part of the Dark Cabal, the First Beast system. But the U.S. military, which strongly backs the QAnon movement, part of the Second Beast system, or the Alliance, pushed the Nesara agenda forward under threat. Nesara is the new economic system that will be introduced into the U.S. after the dollar has fully collapsed. Gesara was signed into law in 2015 as part of the Paris Agreement. It is an extension of Nesara and will fuel the new economic reset for the rest of the world. If you remember, Trump removed the U.S. from the Paris Agreement in 2019. This wasn't due to climate change. Simply stated, the U.S. doesn't need Gesara because it has Nesara already in place. With a little research on Nesara, you'll see that it's the hope of the new world that the New Age movement is looking for. In fact, even many in the QAnon community have learned about Nesara and are waiting patiently for its announcement. The New Age says that Nesara is a spiritually directed financial program that can be attributed back to Saint Germain. It was designed to provide a new economic system for the world during the time of transition. But where does the money to back Nesara, this new economic system, come from? The idea behind Nesara and a dark to light financial reset began with Saint Germain in 1729. It was then that he began a world trust that all the elite followers of the light have been contributing to for hundreds of years now. The amount of wealth that the Saint Germain World Trust has accumulated is incomprehensible. In fact, the number is so large that it might as well be infinity. Saint Germain's plan was for the World Trust money to be distributed during Christendom's second millennium, or the year 2000. That was when he intended for the world to transition from dark to light, from the Piscean age to the age of Aquarius, from the first beast in Revelation to the second beast. However, as we got closer to Y2K, the Dark Cabal wasn't yet ready to surrender control of the world. In addition, there were many prophecies that had not yet happened, and the population of the world just wasn't yet prepared for such a large-scale transition. The coming promise of Nesara and a worldwide economic reset of prosperity for all is a false light that will be the mark of the beast. When the new economic system is announced, all who choose to become a part of it will be forced to make an oath to humanity that will eternally separate them from God in order to become a part of the new system of earthly prosperity and peace offered by Lucifer, a false prosperity and peace. The mark of the beast is the new economic system of prosperity that was laid out by Saint Germain and his World Trust so many years ago. It's the false promise of a utopia on earth without the need for the God of heaven. Yes, a physical implant or mark that will allow you to buy and sell will be a requirement of becoming a member of the Mark of the Beast system. But that is only a symptom of what the true mark is. a decision to choose earthly riches over eternal riches. The mark of the beast is you deciding to partake in the new wealth of the new world and the light Luciferian system that backs it, rather than the eternal treasures of the one true God and the heaven on earth that he promises us when Christ returns. We will all be presented with the exact same proposition, and it's coming soon. Right now, the world is perfectly set up for this great deception. When the time comes, will you answer as your neighbor does, or will you answer as Jesus did?
All of this has been delivered to me. I can give you authority over it all. All power. All riches. All the delicious fruits of the flesh. Forever. No need to suffer. No need to die for a flawed race. No blood need be spilled at all. If only you fall down and worship me.
Remember your place. Who was it that saw you created? Who was it that saw you fall like lightning from heaven? Was it not I? And it is I who give authority to those who will trample your snakes and scorpions and all the power you bring forth. For it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only you shall serve. Get behind me, Satan.
Let's get in close and see what this is. If it's a plane, there's definitely, no, it's going behind, no.
very interesting observation on the Core 2, stereo head Core 2 instrumentation. Just wild. So anyway, we're gonna look at some more wild stuff too. But anyway, I wanted to make sure it wasn't the CME. So just watch how I do my research here, right? So I didn't want to just say, oh gosh, there's a CME and think it's some kind of object, right? So I go over to the cactus, and there is no CMEs, guys. Let's update it. Let's see if anything new. No, not one CME as far as the cactus device is concerned. But look at this thing, guys. And then I also looked to see if there were any CMEs coming off the sun forecasted for the next couple of days. And typically, when you see something like that, a big CME coming off the sun, you'll see one like a big, huge force field coming off of one of these instruments. It's actually a model, but it shows, you know, CMEs traveling through the solar system. No such thing. No CME, right? But we still got this, guys. Check this out, man. I'm going in reverse this time now. Oops. Yeah. Forward now. Check this out, man. Put this in the center. Just an observation. It's just me doing research, saying hi. How you doing? Look at that thing, man. It's got like a bright center to it. And it's just like, you know, hey, I'm just chilling, going out by the sun. Like, is it artificial? Is it a celestial body? Is it a planet? Here's another interesting observation, though, off the stereo satellite array. And this was from the 9th, I think, August 9th. And I was looking at this comet that BP Earthwatch had pointed out a couple of weeks ago, and I was watching that comet go by, you know, and everything. But I noticed the beams of light being bent downwards. These beams of energy, I should say. They're not light, by the way. This is really expressing electromagnetic energy. That's what this particular instrument looks at, is electromagnetic energy. Anyway, this beam comes from behind the sun or from the sun. This is the sun over here. And boom, it like ricocheted off of something. I said, well, what did it ricochet off? And so I did a little bit of enhancement, and there's an orb there, right? Which kind of follows with the observation that I was showing you guys just a little bit ago, right?
People hopping on social media trying to find out what this bright light streaking across the sky is.
Anybody see that flash of light?
Did you see it? Look at this. A meteorite streaking right across the sky this morning.
I was here, and I saw this rock coming from the sky, and something hit it right there. Be careful, I don't want to get too close. Yeah, it was like a meteor rock. I got so freaked out, man, that thing exploded. Made a big hole. Y un hoyo, mira. I don't know, something in there. Hold on. Don't get too close. Don't get too close, man. We might need to call the county or something.
Something's going on. I just heard a loud crash outside. There's a car crash or something. Ooh, that was loud. That's anything I've ever heard. Smoke. Holy oh, that damn thing is hot. I can feel the heat coming off of it. It's hot. It's a damn meteorite.
I don't know what that noise was, but something just happened outside. Sounded like a big crash, like a car crash. What is this thing? There's heat. It's a meteor.
Look, right here.
Oh my gosh.
I was just walking out here.
It's like, the ground's on fire. Okay. Probably very hot.
There it is, right there.
Yeah, I see it.
An Indonesian man became astronomically rich after a precious meteorite worth nearly $2 million smashed through the veranda of his home.
A large meteor from the asteroid belt, traveling at a great speed, impacted the location at an angle of 43 degrees, which created an ejecta-blast zone that caused roofs to collapse and walls to give way to numerous structures.
Good morning, folks. We're going to earn that like button today with two big hits. Step 1 in a necessary engagement, and Step 100 in debunking climate science. We're starting with our star at spaceweathernews.com, and we find the last day continuing the bright magnetic field activity and overall awakening of the sun. While solar flares are still low, they are climbing. We are entering the big climb of the sunspot cycle, where increases in activity will be more regular. We're in the thick of the rise to sunspot maximum now. The earthquake watch both continues and started producing with the 6-pointer in Chile yesterday. That followed multiple blot echoes. We're heading next to India, where they've got about a day to evacuate this region because the storm is stalling, strengthening, and going to obliterate this region with cyclone power for more than 24 hours when it hits. This is set to be the natural disaster of the year in the eastern world.
Hello, everybody. It is 11:33 a.m. Central Time on 11/22/2020, November 22nd. Man, we are here on the Earthquake 3D live stream. Let's just get into it. Screw it, why not? So I'll turn on a display capture and we'll start over here in the West Pacific. And we're using Earthquake 3D. If you're new here and you don't know what you're looking at, it's a free program. There's a basic version and there's a paid version. I don't get anything for recommending it, but I do recommend that you use it or something similar to plot the earthquakes, and that you use multiple feeds. Use the Europeans and the USGS, for instance, is what we're using here to give us a good view of what has struck around the world. And we're looking at about 48 hours or a little bit over that worth of activity right now. And the earthquakes that are raised high off the globe, if you don't know about those are deep earthquakes that are happening down below the plates. And we have letter Ds, which you can barely see here since there's so many earthquakes around them. Letter Ds, where we watch for new deep earthquakes to occur. And that's happened over the past several days. New deep earthquakes. Well, since then, since the deep earthquakes have flared back up, or actually kept hammering on.
Mystery Babylon is a mystery in scripture because it was a country not yet known. The writers understood that in light of the awful things perpetrated on mankind from the Romans and then their Catholic Church by the murdering of millions that possessed the truth, that they would need to rename their plans and form a very different country that allowed the enemy to continue his operation of enslavement. Yes, mankind is enslaved by the system devised against you, just as it was happening during the days of Christ.
Mankind will not heed your words. This world is my domain. They have turned from you.